Уважаемые коллеги, рад вас
Distinguished colleagues, we are happy to welcome you at the 7th International Moscow Financial Economic Forum, its first panel devoted to different aspects of Eurasian cooperation in the context of digital technology and transformation, devoted to sustainable development. The title of our forum is Great Eurasia, searching for the new forms and areas of cooperation. And today, building on the plenary session, we can say that we already got to know the opinions of our EU counterparts, representatives of the Russian business, the management of the Russian Union of Industrialists and Entrepreneurs, the government of Moscow, everybody speaking about different aspects of cooperation in the modern context. And many were saying that under today's conditions, without technological processes, without switching to so-called digital format, it's not possible to move further, and it's not possible to reach progress further. Financial Business Association is actively operating, is engaged, and today's forum confirms that we are also in a framework of all these agenda items at the level of the state, public, political organization. Of course, the pivotal role in digitalization is played by the business engagement and different business communities engagement. That's why our today's panel will be moderated by the Promtech Company Director General, Doctor of Technical and Engineering Science, Alexandra Kotlarsky, has been head of the company since 1994. This is a permanent company, and it's really at a high level from the point of technological and automation development. Let us give a floor to the participants of the panel, and I'm positive we will have a very informative and constructive discussion today. Distinguished ladies, distinguished gentlemen, distinguished participants of the 7th Moscow International Financial Economic Forum, you are attending the opening of the first panel discussion, and it was announced, and already the president of the FBA EAC Association already gave his welcoming remarks. This is Anatoly Tkachuk. Myself, I will take over and continue moderating this panel, and want to draw your attention to the fact that this year the forum is running in a rather unusual format. We all know that the pandemic that crushed the world, it's playing its role, it's taking its toll, and despite it, we have to be in a virtual format, unlike the regular way when we see each other in person. We have to be in a video conference mode. In a certain way, it has its benefits. As I will show on the statistics currently, the forum is attended by representatives of 30 countries, more than 300 participants. They got connected to the forum. That is why we will have a very interesting discussion ahead. On panel 1, this is development of Eurasian cooperation from mutual trade to manufacturing cooperation and joint manufacturing sites and Eurasian company establishment, digital transformation of industrial enterprises under the modern conditions. Why such a focus is done on the digital transformation? So because it can become a certain driver, development driver, to develop our further relationships, to enhance cooperations between our enterprises based on deep upgrade and modernization of our enterprises. And of course, the major transformation driver is switching all the processes to digital technologies. Each one of you, while sitting in front of the screen, can ask questions, and these questions will be reflected on the screen, and I will see it. Since the program is rather intense, it's packed, perhaps we will not be able to discuss and answer all the questions. But I promise that all the questions that you ask will be worked on, and you will receive either personalized answer or additional materials if required. Now, I would like to give the floor to make welcoming remarks to the member of the board of directors, Norilsk Nikin, Doctor of Engineering Science, Professor Nikolai Abramov. Nikolai, please take the floor. And good day, dear participants. We're happy to welcome all of you at the conference. And despite the situation related to COVID-19, we follow the modern trends, and the conference is running in the digital format. Dynamic development of digital technologies has become a serious factor of our life, and as well as operation of our companies and enterprises, application of digital technologies and digital transformation of the enterprises and organizations. This is our today's subject matter. Hopefully the presentations will be interesting for all the participants and provide a significant deal of information and will be applied in further development of the organizations. I wish that all participants are successful and to have a serious and fruitful discussion as well. Thank you. Thank you for this welcoming remarks and your wish to all the participants to have interactive participation in the agenda items. Hopefully, everybody will benefit from it and it will be interesting to everybody. According to our forum agenda, I would like to give a floor to Oleg Letiev. He is the head of department on automation in Promtech company. Oleg, please take the floor. Alexander, thank you for giving me the floor. Good day, distinguished participants. I'm Oleg Letiev. I'm streamlining of the production processes from Tech company. Let me continue. In brief, I want to give you the background of our company. Promtech is an innovative company. We specialize in tackling the task of comprehensive automation of technological processes for enterprises in all industries. We have more than 25 years of experience, and our intellectual capacity enables to offer efficient tackling resolution of digitalization tasks considering information security. And we shall mention the fact that we are a developer and manufacturer of equipment which is unprecedented at the market, enabling to accomplish transformation tasks. Speaking about the necessity of digital transformation, apart from the global strategy of our country, it is also has undisputable benefits pertaining to such transformation. It is expressed in a significant increase of efficiency of production, safety, quality increase of the finished product. As a consequence, it reduces costs and prime costs of the finished product. All these factors altogether are key ones. They are determinants for the business nowadays. Speaking about the main digital transformation characteristics, the way it looks like, we can say that digital transformation is the end-to-end integration of all business processes in the companies. We put together different processes in one information space. As a consequence, we transform the process to one single manageable and observable eco-environment, and it gives a synergetic effect and significantly improve efficiency of the business processes at the enterprises. The first step that the enterprise is facing while doing digital transformation is to ensure the transformation ability to observe. It requires upgrade of the existing systems, and the major goal is to get a comprehensive set of data on the progress in order to process this data further on and receive clear understanding at what stage the processing at each single point of time. And the further steps are related to analytical processing of this data. We apply AI techniques to process the data, integration with the financial management systems. Everything taken together results in streamlining of managerial decision-making, the managerial techniques. As a result, the management of all levels, they receive the informative knowledge base for management of their manufacturing processes. The digital transformation at each and every enterprise begins with the upgrade of the baseline systems. I would like to dwell in more detail. The backbone of any enterprise, the data transfer networks, and in digital transformation is related to increased volume of data that needs to be collected. And data is severely heterogeneous. This is video data, audio data, all sorts of data. The modern approach to tackle the data transfer task is use of multi-service networks. This principle baselines on use of one single network structure, enabling to pass various sorts of data with the speed up to 10 gigabits per second. Speaking about major development areas from digitalization perspective, we should mention the integration trend. So all the functions are getting integrated as one single hardware complexes. Speaking about data transfer networks, it is applicable to it as well. And data transfer function, ensuring wireless connection and geopositioning functions can be done as a part of one single hardware solution. Special attention shall be drawn to development of monitoring and positioning systems. The modern systems, apart from tackling the tasks of locating the personnel, they also enable to tackle the tasks such as multi-factor control of security for the personnel, especially operating underground, ensuring navigational properties. And speaking about such systems, we should mention two areas of development. The first one, increased accuracy of positioning. Modern digital systems can ensure accuracy up to 1 meter. This is something unreachable for most of the existing positioning systems that are based on Wi-Fi signal metering principle. Another innovative area is application of smart lamps, the smart mine lighting devices. These lamps, bulbs, they tackle multiple tasks apart from positioning search of the personnel in the mine. They ensure ongoing atmospheric security processes. They are connected with biometrical control devices. They check movements, access control systems to different facilities, and security is increasing, and the major task of preservation of human life is achieved. While we develop this subject related to digital transformation, of course, we shall mention the multi-service networks. If data transfer is the blood vessels, then arteria, these are the multi-service networks. They tackle one of the most important tasks. And the synergy of business processes reached as a part of digital transformation enables at the level of the system to accomplish a number of relevant tasks of dynamic, low distribution, continuity, and guarantee of delivery of the materials, automatic determination and choice of the optimum route for delivery of materials, and another important task, averaging ore quality during the delivery process. We shall mention that for the digital systems, they are characterized by a high level of integration capacity. Such systems can perform seamless integration with all sorts of existing systems like manufacturing management, repair management systems, different automated systems, automated extraction management systems, and this effect undoubtedly is of versatile nature, and the synergy of this process accounts for efficiency increase for each of these processes. It shall be mentioned that integration indicators also are applying to the integration devices. Currently, we have integration of security and connectivity system, integration with the digital system of voice, system Rudnik, improves the level of awareness of the personnel and reduce the time gap between decision making and conveying it to the executors. The result of the digital transformation is significant intensifying of the production management system. We reduce the human factor impact, and we avoid any manual data capture. And this is the analytical center for the enterprises. And this is the information core of the enterprise. Determination of the digital processes reached as a part of the digital transformation, and provision of comprehensive data enables to introduce such a modern approach as digital twins technique. It enables in a virtual environment to test different managerial and technical solutions to choose the optimum ones, and afterwards in a safe way for the production process to implement it in practice. And the system enables to perform multi-factor predictive analysis of the evolution of the situation in the manufacturing site throughout a different lifespan, sometimes a long-term lifespan. And the benefits are certain, and our company can provide highly competent assistance to our partners. And I would like to conclude with the motto that we use our experience, and we will find a solution that meets your needs. Thank you. Thank you, Oleg Anatolievich, for so fascinating and informative presentation. It always seems to me that it is rather challenging as a part of 10 minutes that you are given to explain your concepts, but you managed. You outlined the main conceptual aspects that we will be discussing further on in further presentations. And now I would like to give the floor to our next speaker, and he's here with us in the studio, and he will be talking on something that we already mentioned. Digital transformation of industrial enterprises has its own other side, and maybe a dark side. It is related to cybersecurity. And we will have a rather interesting presentation from Alexander Poznikevich, Business Development Manager, Kaspersky Lab. Thank you, colleagues. Good day, distinguished participants. I am Alexander Poznikevich in the Kaspersky Lab. I am responsible for industrial security, for Kaspersky Industrial Cybersecurity in Russia and CIS. I will build on this digital transformation subject, and as the threats to the industry are changing, and I will tell what are the approaches to ensure industrial security. The colleague from Promtech indeed made a good presentation on how the digital transformation process is happening, how data from the field is transferred to MES system, to ERP and other systems. And here I wanted to mention the following. For a long time, we've been talking about the malware, the hacker attacks, they're relevant for the corporate segment. But throughout 5 to 7 years, we've been talking that the malware and the hackers attacks, they are relevant for the SCADA, automated management system, PLCs, and the automation vendors. They also emphasize that many automation systems, they were created for the isolated use, but now we see the data is sent to the outside systems, and we've got communication channels between corporate and industrial. But the malware, which is relevant for the corporate segment, now it goes into the industrial segment. And 2017, when the ransom malware, the viruses, which, for example, did a lot of harm to the industrial segment. Besides, here we can be talking about the internal violations, and someone the insider might violate the processes, and we need to be protected from the insiders and subcontractors who service our industrial segment. They come with their own devices, with their laptops, and sometimes they can bring the malware to the industrial segment as well. They can be a source of the viruses. And speaking about targeted attacks, hacker attacks, they've been known since 2010, and annually we can be talking about dozens of targeted attacks on industrial segment. In our Kaspersky Lab, we have a specialized center, our global project on investigation of cyber incidents, identifying vulnerabilities and threats in hardware and software of the industrial automation system. Colleagues annually publish reports on security, on protection of industrial devices, and overall the status of security in the industrial segment. And the colleagues also are talking about the target attacks that are happening in the industry. Over the first 6 months of 2020, we are aware of a number of significant attacks on industrial segment. One of them was Blue Scope company that was attacked. Blue Scope company was attacked And due to this attack, number of processes were frozen and switched to a manual mode. Portuguese energy, the Portugal company, was attacked by Ragnar Locker, and 10 terabytes of confidential information was stolen, and they require ransom $11 billion. And companies from Azerbaijan, it seems like Portugal and United States, it's something far away, but they are happening in Russia and in CIS countries. In April 2020, there was a campaign, there was an attempt to compromise number of industrial companies in Azerbaijan. There was an email sent with a file containing data, presumably from the government, but the file contained the hyperlink. If you click this hyperlink, then there was an attack happening. And we shall mention that having analyzed the file, we identified that they are interested in SCADA systems, the management systems. What does Kaspersky do to prevent such attacks? And we have a specialized set of solutions to
What
protect
we
the
do to
industrial
prevent the
segment.
attacks,
It
we
is
have a
called
series of
Kaspersky
instruments
Industrial
devised
Cybersecurity, and it
to do this,
contains the software
like
and
special
server
software.
component. We increase
First
awareness
of all, we raise
in the area
awareness
of
of our
SCADA of
employees
PCS
in
systems.
control
And we
systems,
run 2
including
days
trainings
training
to
courses
operators
to
that last
improve awareness.
2
Do
days
not
on
put
raising
your USB
awareness,
stick.
like not installing
And also we
the
run
sticks,
expert
USB
services
sticks,
to investigate
on
cyber
learning the
incidents.
basic rules of
And speaking about
preventing phishing
software,
and so on.
we have a set of solutions
It's
to
also a
protect
series of
industrial
solutions
nodes managed
of
by Windows,
handling
ARM
the
servers and
RMI
HMI
servers,
panels.
HMI
And the
panels,
second
component to
component on
monitor
monitoring of
invasions and
intrusions and
centralized
centralized management.
management and
Kick
control.
solution
Kick
has been at the
solution
market
has
for
been
more
on the
than 5
market for more
years.
than 5.
We have more than 100 projects in more than 100 countries. We
на всех промышленных предприятиях, защищала эффективно их, развиваем наше решение. Если говорить про защиту предприятия и
Talking about enterprise protection and considering a basic model, there is a difference between the PLC and SCADA levels. These solutions, the Kicks for Nuts is installed on the Kicks for Networks is installed on the final network, and it studies a copy of traffic, improves transparency of the industrial segment, which is important to colleagues, and also it can prevent targeted attacks. We can control the equipment and detect if something is sent to the controller, a harmful software or harmful code is sent to the software, we can handle this issue. We also devise systems that aim to prevent the industrial segment. We do understand that they use a lot of outdated systems like Windows XP and so on. In addition, industrial hubs cannot be reloaded, reset as often as digital software in digital companies. So we advise companies to install our solution on all Windows XP points. We also have certificates, you can find them on the website, and success stories. Talking about the web component, this is a web solution that analyzes the copy of traffic and increases transparency and identifies targeted attacks on the industrial segment. In addition, we can analyze
непосредственно угрозы, связанные с
threats
уязвимостями
uh,
промышленных компонентов. Да, то есть это не только
resulting
непосредственно мониторинг,
from vulnerability of industrial components. That's more than monitoring of invasions, but it's also monitoring of vulnerabilities
центр централизованных
of
продуктов
companies.
долго рассказывать. Здесь,
I will not
наверное,
dwell
важными
much
параметрами
on component management and integration with outside systems like CEM, reporting, and so on. I would like to say a couple of more words about our partners. Indeed, we sell our solutions through our respected partners, and Promtech is our beloved um, uh, co- partner. We cooperate in the control systems and in informational security systems. Analytical agencies have noted our impact in the industrial safety area. Gartner, Forrester, ARC Advisory can be journals that you can read and find out more. We also cooperate closely with the resource companies like metal companies, nickel company, in addition with water treatment companies, gas companies, and gas utilities companies, all huge companies with control systems in place. Thank you for this opportunity. I will look forward to the discussion part.
За ваш очень интересный доклад. Если позволите, в
Thank you very
завершение
much, Alexander, for your presentation. I have a question. Within
нашей
the
панели, которой мы
program
это время,
of the
вы помните,
panel,
что
we have
ведем
been
дискуссию о тех
listening to.
и
As you
наиболее
understand, we have a discussion about the areas and challenges that may prevent or hinder integration of the European and Asian cooperation from the viewpoint of threats. This kind of consolidation of effort
предприятий для создания совместных предприятий, но на
result
уровне информационного обмена
is connected at the level of information exchange may form
Если можно, прокомментируйте, пожалуйста.
a challenge.
Сложности, они создаются, да, в части
Yes, it's true. There are challenges in the domain of informational security, like exchange of confidential data and exchange of industrial data. On the whole, we have experience in similar projects. For example, NLMK, Novolipetsk metal plants, together with us, managed to solve the issue of data security in Russia and overseas. So definitely that's one of the areas of proficiency for our company. As far as I'm aware, 2 years ago, Russia issued a federal law to combat this phenomenon. Many companies in Russia are convinced that their enterprises of the European cooperation experience the same challenges. We are just at the beginning of this long way, and cybersecurity in the sphere of control systems, especially if they are completely digital, poses, forms a lot of very challenges, questions, and presents a lot of challenging issues. Unfortunately, we are pressed for time and we cannot cover all the challenges. But anyway, thank you for very interesting presentations. So I would like to send you a list of questions that need answer, and then we will send back the replies to the persons involved. The next presentation is very promising. It is presented by head of the business area of industrial services by Siemens company, DICS, a company that has completed a lot of digital projects in the real sector. So please, Alexey Samashilov, take the floor. Alexey is going to talk about the areas of development for Siemens company that address the challenges of digitalization.
Уважаемые участники нашего форума, мы очень четко следуем сценарию нашего форума.
Dear participants of the forum, we follow very closely the agenda of the forum, so I kindly ask you to connect because we have very tight agenda. Okay, great. We have Alexey has connected, so please take the floor. Alexey Samashilov. Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you for connecting. I was convinced that I was going to speak at 2:10 p.m. Moscow time. I'm ready to share our experience in the digitalization in mining industry. Let me start the presentation. Can you see the screen?
Да, вижу, что меня видно. Видно, что мой экран. И я чуть-чуть приоткрою.
Yes, I can see that you see the screen. Let me shed some light on the definition of digitalization in Siemens. We did it a couple of years ago. That's a picture of future in the mining industry by 2030. That's mining by 2030, the bigger picture. In this very simple graphics, we can see a expected future of the mining industry, what it has in store, what technologies are expected to appear. I would like to focus on a very simple thing. Perhaps in the very middle, you will see the word grow. What does it signify? That's the answer to the question, what's going to happen with consumption? That's a very simple question, but it has a very complex answer. So it is expected, according to surveys, consumption is going to grow. At the same time, the efficiency of the ore is going to decline. Rich deposits are being exhausted or have been exhausted. So in this context of the declining quality of the ore, we need to compensate for the growing demand. This is the issue that we will have to address by 2030. In this picture, you can see the futuristic means of exploration and mining, from the cosmic aerospace technologies to underwater mining beneath in the oceans. We and the companies are doing an in-depth analysis of those methods, and I believe that's a nice contribution of the vision of the future. If we interpret and translate this nice picture into clear-cut figures and ideas, we can see that there is a continuous decrease of average ore grades. The deposits are becoming deeper and deeper, and they form a mine. And here we can see, and we will have to handle a totally different requirement to the infrastructure and safety provision, and the need for new technologies to mine in these conditions. Health, safety, and security in harsh environment have to be tackled too. All this has to be followed. The expenses and costs like capex and opex are the main task of the economy. The major trend is to save costs, cut costs on capex and opex. Today, many companies operate the term of general ownership. So today it's more than cutting costs on capex and opex, but today there is a new term of the general cost of ownership. To us, this is a beneficiary parameter because this is an area for improvement and future growth for Siemens. Moreover, the entire mining industry is something that is regulated on the open market, where global trends are present and implemented, and we can see, we're proud to say that Russian companies are following international standards, which is great and which is at the same time a challenge and an opportunity. Let me say a few words about Siemens. What do we offer in this challenging world? Considering all the requirements to the mining industry, we concentrate on three areas of proficiency. First of all, that's electrification. Layer or level number 2 is automation, and level number 3 is the so-called digitalization. All that pertains to the mining industry, electrification, automation, and digitalization. In these areas, Siemens will provide and offer modern equipment in the sphere of electrification and automation. All the equipment is supplied with new software and new software complexes that deal with digitalization and automation very heavily. Moreover, we offer our clients to learn more about digitalization, and we're helping them on their way to a digitalized production and economy. Moreover, we have a clear understanding of the technologies and software. Thus, we offer best solutions on electrification, automation, and digitalization with account of specific areas or industries. I can bring up a couple of examples of digital solutions in the area of mining industry. First of all, that's of course the MES system or manufacturing executive systems. Those solutions are available to Siemens with introduced with developed references. The ERP system for mining industry, and the largest reference in this area is Valley company. I'm sure that you know this company, a very large player on the mining market. Another topic closely linked with digitalization is the automatic stockyard management. This system welcomes manless technologies, self-driving vehicles, a large variety of innovative solutions. The next area is simulation. Here we have the example of belt conveyor simulation. What is the advantage of simulation and what can be improved with the help of the system? That's the calculation of the capacities for migration, transportation of certain equipment where the performance of certain mechanic equipment need to be boosted. We are not sure that the conveyor can withstand an increase in capacity and productivity. So this model enables to simulate the increase of the load or productivity. Predictive and preventive maintenance are the modern terminology that you might have heard multiple times. That's also one of our areas of proficiency. And finally, the enterprise dashboarding. That's the reporting and counting that shows the activities of the holding on the whole of several or separate areas that you can see in the visualization of OEE format with a wide range of available analytical materials and many more available applications that show the beauty of digitalization and assist in making high quality managerial decisions. How to obtain this, how to implement this, how to select the best solutions out of the huge variety present on the market. We have the necessary knowledge and skills and experience in selecting the best decisions and choosing the best solutions to our clients. We share the information, what is strategically significant, why they need digitalization as an important segment in achieving their strategic targets. The next point in describing the as it is situation is maturity analysis, is assets inventory, what has to be modernized and upgraded, where to find the information necessary for strategic planning or reporting, initiatives and prioritizations of those initiatives, the search for the so-called quick wins, where you can implement the necessary solution very quickly and obtain cost-saving solutions. Another important step is detailed projects with technical and financial feasibility, and finally the transition planning, finally the implementation. At all those steps, Siemens is ready and willing to assist the client moving away from the classical equipment towards the supplier, towards the software, the IT solutions and IT providers and integrating companies. That's a strategic development of Siemens company. If you read the QR code, you will read my business card. You're most welcome with any questions you might have. I will be happy to answer your questions. And in addition, you will find my presentation on the same link from the QR code. So you're most welcome with any comments and suggestions and questions.
Нашего форума не предполагает вот такой открытой дискуссии непосредственно.
Unfortunately, the forum does not include an open discussion, but your report has been extremely informative, and I'm sure that it will evoke a vast number of questions that we will address you. Despite the fact that the presentation is in Russian, its English version can be found on the website of the Finance and Business Association. All the open points, all the questions you can ask to our wonderful speaker. Thank you for this beautiful presentation, and we need to move on according to our agenda. Now I would like to give the floor to Vladimir Antona, Deputy Director for Key Customers Interaction from the company Promtech, the PhD in Economy. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Can you hear me? Can you see the screen? Can you see the presentation?
Пока нет демонстрации.
Так.
Отлично, спасибо.
Great. So I think you should see the presentation now. Yes, it's okay. It works. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I would like to focus on the aspect of digital transformation process in terms of the digital transformation is one of the aspects of assessing investment attractiveness, strategic development, and asset management of financial and industrial groups, industry base of standards, and benchmarking. So in any case, we're going to undergo the digital transformation, and as we say, those who are lagging behind will lag behind, because there have been a lot of new developments in the IT, in the digital sphere, in ideology. You know, this famous saying of Lewis Carroll, in order to stay where you are, you need to run as fast as you can. And in order to advance, you have to run even twice faster. So it illustrates that the digital transformation pertains not only to means of production, but also to employees and staff. That's why we're talking about digitalization both in the industry and among the people involved. We all understand that people obey to certain rules and are limited by certain processes. Thus, in order to improve their effectiveness and efficiency, we need to take measurements. These measurements can be made with the digital technologies. How can we do this? Workers or employees used to deal with a lot of manufactured or manual processes, but today we need to improve the mechanism of operation, removing the routine activities and providing the ability to control the process and measure and control the automated processes, automated and digitalized. That provides for transparency at the level that has been just impossible before. Moreover, the digital transformation is working hand in hand with strategic development of enterprises. From the viewpoint of digitalization assessment, all approaches are similar to assessment of strategies, like answering the questions what we are, where do we go, what do we want. That's more than just development of business, but also employment of digital technologies that give us opportunities in terms of transforming the system of control and production system. So it impacts directly the strategy, the technology that results in
наличие стратегии цифровой трансформации, увязанной со стратегией развития, безусловно, дает и повышает инвестиционную привлекательность предприятия. При этом мы говорим о том,
So
что...
the development strategy improves the investment attractiveness of enterprise. Speaking about the enterprises, I'm less speaking about the banking institution. I'm speaking about more of the manufacturing sites, vertically and horizontally integrated industrial groups. The digital environment enables to unite and combine the enterprises at the level of digital twins, digital relations between the finished products and processes. Speaking about from the perspective of discrete production, there is a very simple idea. If previously we say that we have design and practical preparation, we had a project model, then technological preparation, then manufacturing or production model, then we were submitted, commenced it into operation, and we had certain operational model. It was partially or fully automated. Once we implement the digital technology, we have the digital model, and it can be upgraded at each and every step. And we have an interesting thing here. And we come to the moment when we alienate the digital model. We might have independent designers, operators, and each one of them needs to get the alienated digital model. Legal aspects are associated with it, the change history and alienation of models and transferring models, enabling all participants to operate in one single environment. Why I'm talking about alienation? Because the designers might use one means of design, the operators another software, and we are not talking about having end-to-end kind of products. We are talking about need to have standards, enabling all the operators using different systems, but use the digital models. We need to have the standard enabling us to alienate digital models. In the digital models, due to digitalization, we might unify and standardize the materials, equipment that are engaged, and we need to have a catalog of permissible equipment. It's important for the network companies. It's not just a catalog of permissible equipment. It is required to build relations with the vendors based on the digital models, supported by the operational models that put together the operational model that we give to our customers in future. This operational model is integrated with the life cycle systems and naturally becomes a backbone, a baseline for the operation. But having the end-to-end model enables to model and understand what are the prospects for the service repair and warranted equipment, to see the future and understand what are the risks and what are the procedures and what are the realities for the enterprise to operate. Once you have a technology, once you have an environment, and this technology improves the opportunity to have control, not just from operating management perspective, but from the shareholders, from investors perspective. And we understand that here we're talking about paradigm shift, switching the people. We understand that manufacturing processes, interactions with the external world, everything is actuated by people with the tools. But paradigm shift makes people not just screw in the mechanism. It results in the fact that digitalized processes are placed in the environment, and investment attractiveness from the management perspective, it's really improving. And if we have regulations on a quality management system, we can assess the effectiveness of management. We can see the processes in this management system. The more so, the processes might be associated with the indicators. We might see the timelines, the costs of the processes for the enterprise. So we can assess the efficiency of the management system, efficiency of the processes themselves, readiness of the enterprise to development, to change its positioning at the market, the speed of execution. So if we have matrices, we can compare the similar enterprises at the market. The same we can see at the BIM design, digital models of the buildings. It is more related to utility companies, but our ideology results in the fact that BIM model becomes a tool and assembly point for all the project data, all the steps of the life cycle of the project. And not just from the design management process and design process, construction, and preparation to commencement into operation, documentation, procurement, whatever is related to expertise, the commencement into operation process, if it is done in the digital environment, it enables to assess efficiency of the enterprise, to find its market positioning, and what are the prospects for this enterprise, what kind of tasks this enterprise is enabled to tackle. Digital technologies give us new aspects to assess operational efficiency of enterprises, not as we did it in the past, but digitalization, capitalization of knowledge in the digital form of finished product, and enables us to move away, to deviate from the human factor, enables us to assess the market positioning of enterprise. And also we have a tooling to come up with a one single technological policy for the enterprise operating at the market. So there is a paradigm shift from the investment attractiveness perspective, apart from the standard assessment across the financial and economic indicators, we have an additional opportunity to assess processes in expeditious mode. We can analyze the efficiency against the counterparts efficiency at the market. We can have a deeper analysis of their development opportunities, coming to the adjacent markets to enter some other markets. Due to having described objects, we can assess scenarios using the modeling systems where the process parameters are also described. On top of it, we can do a benchmarking of the technological processes. This is interesting for the processing industry, for the construction industry. When there are several enterprises within the company holding, we can benchmark these enterprises and compare the efficiency and assess cost per manufacturing unit, and we can assess the prospects of the enterprise. It's not so much about financial and manufacturing indicators. In online mode, we can see the efficiency and compare it against the counterparts and benchmarking. They can show us speed, the cost efficiency, and it might improve investment attractiveness of the enterprises at the market. It also enables us to enhance the management system and consider changes to the strategy of the enterprise development. That's it. That's all I wanted to share with you today. Thanks for your attention. Vadim, thank you for so academic style approach to the subject. Despite you used more time than it was given to you, we were really keen on your presentation and we did not interrupt you. So the floor is given to Yuri Fedotov. He is head of department in Micromine Russia company. Colleagues, good day. I was told that I cannot start the demonstration. Okay, now you can try. Can you see my presentation now? Good day. I'm Grigory Fedotov, head of Educational Institutions and Methodological Support Department. I am responsible for the education. Before, I was engaged in implementation of our systems in mining companies, and now we will be talking about digitalization of production processes in the mining sector. As my colleagues already mentioned, there is a trend to establish digital twins for the deposits to manless technologies, and it is already implemented at the Russian enterprises and CIS countries and abroad. They are working more intensely in this area, but we also have a positive dynamics. We have large-scale projects on implementation of dispatching digital systems. If we analyze the solutions available at the market, we can single out 3 major areas in terms of digitalization in the mining sector, and database management system, dispatch systems, and mining and geological information systems. You can see the products of our company. We have similar counterpart products enabling to tackle the same tasks. And in brief, I will describe these systems and tell you about the tasks. Database management system, collect, check geological information, and overall the information that we received as they developed the mineral resource deposit sites. Such system is a very powerful and multifunctional system enabling, based on the collected data that specialists receive from each machinery item, no matter whether it's open cut or underground extraction equipment. All this data is collected together and analyzed by a software and dispatcher. The control room makes a decision in a real-time mode that enables to streamline manufacturing processes. And the most popular software as of now, this is mining and geological information system. It enables to do modeling of deposits at all its life cycle steps, from geological survey to reclamation of land. It's a big scope related to geological survey data. And what are the benefits pertaining to implementation of such solutions? Speaking about database management system, first of all, this is development of the data entry standards for capturing data. We create one single regulation complying with requirements of specific enterprise or the public state standards, and this data is captured in the form required for the user. Automated inquiries for validation and data analysis, we exclude the human errors, we run automated checks, enabling to avoid errors in the system. Once they arrive in mining information system, and then it will be used for the modeling of deposits. These systems combine information and they represent single databases, and they enable to share information between different departments within one single enterprise, irrespective of their positioning and geographical location. Also, similar systems enable us to generate reporting, interpret this data, and important to say that all this reporting can be generated in compliance with the regulatory framework or state standards or enterprise-based regulations. Since we have one single information space, data is shared both with other departments and units, and if they use other systems, the adjacent systems like mining, geological systems, it is possible to share data with them. And the most important thing that the management can perform data audit and control data. The managing company in a real-time mode might keep track of all the manipulations with data to see what are the changes, what is the volume of data, is quality of this data, whether they are compliant with the given tasks or not. Speaking about the dispatch system overall, they enable to monitor movement of all machinery items, to keep track of its status from location in the mine or in the territory of enterprise, up to the pressure in the tires, the load of the dump truck, and it improves operational control at the enterprise. Again, the dispatcher, the control room operator can see what the machinery item is doing in case of downtime due to breaking some parts of the machine, so decisions can be made. Of course, it improves safety level. Going back to any contingency, we can see the the fact that some parts are broken in a real time. We can take immediate measures, and we can avoid more threatening situation with the catastrophic consequences. And it also impacts productivity. Speaking about improving productivity, and the redistribution of machinery across the sites within the territory of the deposit, it's very relevant task for the mining companies. And reducing costs. Again, we can fight with wrongdoings or non-fair attitude from a personnel. We can see if the driver is deciding to have a downtime, we can see it immediately. Or if load of a dump truck is not sufficient, we can also see it in the system and take corresponding measures and decisions. Also, it is important to keep track of the ore, where, from which shaft, from which pit it is coming, what do we need to get as an outcome from the factory. And we can benchmark it against the mining schedule or plan of mining works. We have daily mining plans and monthly mining plans, and we can plan for longer. And the most popular software and geological information system tackling a big spectrum of tasks, the most important of them, creating geological and unit-based models. They enable to assess stock, we can see the reserves, what is the volume, we know spatial distribution of quality of the prospective, or enabling us to design the works with a better quality and to plan mining activities more efficiently. Speaking about the deposit operation, also mark shader control is important. Based on mark shader reconciliation, we can see the actual volume of mining works, which is very important for the mining enterprise. And where most of the big mining companies are coming to, and smaller companies are also arriving to it, like detailed planning of mining works. Here, using such systems, and we can find the optimum sequence of the mining works that results in economic effect. Here, I would like to show the 3D deposit model. This is not the final digital twin, but this is rather close option. If we undergo the entire geological information system, this is geological survey data. We visualize it in 3D environment. We build a carcass model of the ore body, and based on this carcass model, we build a unit-based model where visually we can see the distribution of the ore. We can see high content or low content ore that enables us to plan accordingly. And based on this 3D geological model, we build the pit and layout of the pit, and we can place the machinery, we can plan infrastructure, the slopes, the approach drives. And speaking about operation of deposit, we can design explosive drilling and explosive activities. So to load actual information on drilling activities of these wells and compare actual and plans, and get information on quality indicators of these works. It's important to upgrade this information, update our unit-based model. And apart from the open mining activities, we can also plan the underground mine corridor we're moving to. And the colleague said this is a combined way of development, like open and underground combined, and we design and model the body of or an important step. This is a planning of works, mining works, and you can see the site mining work scheduling, and this is annual planning. The program enables to find the optimum sequence of work execution, considering technical limitations and economic and high quality, the need of the factory, desired profit for the certain period. And also we can see the number of machinery units, its technical indicators, everything is captured in the software, and software provides optimum options to develop this deposit site. And this slide shows annual plan, and we can see actual activities and distribution of mining machines. This slide shows underground development. Here we can see the strategic planning, starting from the design of the mines and shafts underground up to the extraction of minerals, and the system also enable to put together the schedule. Also, we consider productivity, technological limitations related to safety measures and equipment, and preparation activities are underway, and we can look in dynamic mode. It's a certain animation, and mining engineer who works here might use schedules as reports, and going forward it is submitted to the management. Speaking about the results of mining geological information systems, key factors are the following: reducing impact of the human factor, the data capture step and the manual data manipulations, unification of the documents, and we introduce one single standard for data capturing, enabling to avoid that in different business units the information can be interpreted differently, increase transparency and expeditiously of making technical decisions, including remote mode, and like dispatch system enables to control execution of the mining activities, to get information from each machine and compare against what was initially planned, and if needed to adjust our plans according to actual indicators. So we are moving to point 4.5, multi-optional calculation plan due to optimization algorithms and assessment capacity. We can compare different options of mining works and take more streamlined decision. The mineral resource movement or transfer control, I already described it. We can control each and every machinery item, make organizational decisions to avoid downtime, to be able to perform on the given plans. And the last but not the least is increasing safety of mining works due to digitalization of each and every process that I mentioned. And we can increase quality and safety of mining works. That results in economic and social effects. And we can speak more and more and more, but this is not a comprehensive list. But most important things I mentioned, my colleague from Siemens said, apart from the software solutions, it is important that the implementation is done correctly. 5 years ago, we started to promote this model of cooperation with the customers. And a rather large-scale project, which was already completed considering the comprehensive approach, it was implemented in no-risk nickel micromine solution was implemented, and since then most of the mining companies they are using this approach. Once we accompany the implementation process, starting from describing as is and to be processes and up to commencement into operation. The system or several systems, if we're talking about integration of several software solutions, perhaps that's it. Thanks for your attention. Grigory Sergeyevich, thank you very much for this very informative presentation. We know that Micromine puts a lot of efforts to develop their business, and this specific area is extremely efficient for many enterprises in the mining sector. But we are moving to our next presentation. It will be delivered by Dmitry Tausilev. He is the director of Simpatech, German Simpatech company representative office. The floor is given to him. Colleagues, good day. All of you, let me welcome all of you. We can hear you well. And we are thankful to your company for sponsoring our panel discussion. Thank you. The screen shows the presentation of our equipment. And we will tell you how to use this device to control the size of the particles. Each and every enterprise.
This is called Opus, produced by our company. Each enterprise is faced with the problem of controlling particle size, and that affects all stages of production. We design equipment that solves this problem, and this equipment can be used as an online tool in terms of particle size control to automate production. This analyzer provides full-fledged information about the particle distribution, because that is the main parameter for major process parameters in the production that enables to control the size, to measure the size and the distribution in each sample. In addition, this device analyzes the quality composition, showing where the main fraction is, where the minimum and maximum size of the particles is. So it's in real time manner that helps to optimize the process parameters and improve production efficiency. Thus, this is used for online regime. And in addition, we have 4 offline methods that help us to analyze size particles from 1 nanometer to other sizes. Let me show you the product that deals with the ultrasound waves. This is a device called Opus. That's the source of ultrasound and the receptor of ultrasound. Among these detectors, particles of suspension interact with the ultrasound emitted from the diodes at certain lengths of wave. Depending on the material and size of particles, we get different data and distribution of particles. This analyzer is as follows. That's part with the electronic components outside the device. This does not contact the product. And this is the measurement zone, the probe of the device, which is resistant to industrial use. It can be plunged into the raw materials, and that's applied in the heavy industry. How you can install Opus? There's a huge reactor or a tank or drainage after the mill, so Opus can be immersed as a probe, as a zoned into the tank where liquids flow and circulate. The main thing is to fill in this. Or we can drown it through the product into the huge pipes. And here you can see an example of adapter that can be used with our analyzer or through smaller dimension pipes or flow through adapter presented here. The range of measurement from 0.1 microns to 3000 microns. We also operate with non-transparent and thick suspensions and emulsions, where now method can handle the measurement task. This method of ultrasound wave online particle size analysis using ultrasonic spectroscopy can operate in different media. We also, it is also certified in line with ATEX class. As a typical result, we are not really interested in single measurements, but we focus on the very process of taking measurements and its dynamic as a trend diagram. You can see that each spot on the trend diagram is a single measurement. The frequency, the realistic frequency for utilization is one measurement per each 2 minutes. That's the best frequency for usage. That can be adjusted depending on the client, depending on the type of product. There you can see in the red line a experiment where we deal with metal powder. So we need the target PSD is less than 50 microns. There you can see the distribution of particles according to this 50 microns parameter. And we reach these targets from 200 to 50 microns within only 2 hours. That saves a lot of time and effort and money. Opus can be used as a trial device. We do this with Promtech company in Russia in the CIS in the near future, I hope. We also use it as a testing installation where any kind of material can be measured. The main thing here is it has to be suspension. Let me repeat, this has to be done real time in real process. It is reliable and does not require any maintenance. This can be used. You can monitor the results, but basically it does not require any maintenance if it is implemented and operates in the right conditions, in the appropriate conditions. There you can see application of this device on a mining plant, and it helps to avoid a human factor, human error, and it enables to measure in as many point of sampling as possible. It combines a lot of functions in one sensors. That we have ore from 3 different mines. It is analyzed, so it comes from different deposits, different mines, pits. Still, it can do the comparison and detect where the material comes from. This is an automated device where you can create a certain scheme of managing this analyzer, which does not involve human presence. It measures the particles and sends the data to control panel that is controlled by an operator, and the operator makes the decision what to do with the product, whether it needs to be grinded further or the grinding process has to be changed somehow. So a very important stage is the representative sampling, assaying, where we study the points of assay. We um, probe into the opportunity to install the secondary sampler. So we actually devise the best solution for each task. There are 4 lines that we can best cover. This is how we adapt this device to a few process lines at a time. Here we have the device called multiplexer. From the top, you can see 4 lines, and the water supply system. There you can see a area of control that prevents any leakage or a breakdown of equipment. So all these big particles, big pieces of rock will be caught here to prevent damage of the equipment. In addition, we get we have this water supply installed to clean the system between different assays. So all these are measured with one sensor installed here. Then you can drain the whole batch or return it to the process flow. There we have samplers, different types of samples that are implemented together with the analyzer very successfully. I would like to present the results you could get. It can also analyze the concentration of solids and concentration of liquids. In the green, you can see a sieve of 70 microns. So together with the size of particle, we can see that the solid content changes in this very case. So that's all implemented by the same analyzer. Why I'm talking about the solid component and the trend diagrams. Very often the enterprises use sieve analysis, and opus in this case can be calibrated, which is a benefit. And its results show the best correlation on the standards method that can be applied, methods of the sieve analysis that can be applied here. So this is the 4 types of analysis, including mesh analysis on copper ore. That's a 3-stage of sampling with Opus. First of all, it enables to make probes, prepare the ore, the probe, for assaying and produce all the cycle, so it can be measured within a couple of minutes. The headquarters of Sympathec is located in Germany, Clausthal, Zellefeld. I hope that one day we will welcome you in our headquarters. You are always welcome in our applied laboratory and demonstration center. Our main office in Russia is located in Ekaterinburg. You can see the address and the phone number on the screen. You are most welcome for consultation, and we will be happy to answer all your questions. Dmitry, many thanks for your report. I believe this topic was very interesting, and we will meet again in different varying formats to solve multiple tasks. Right now, I would like to give the floor to the next presenter, Alexander Trofimichev, the Director for Development of Vega Instrument Company, a German company which has an office in Russia. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. My name is Alexander, and today I'm going to tell you about Vega company, about its digital solutions. Just a second, I'm sorry, I need to download the presentation. Vega was founded in 1959 in Schwarzwald. It's located in the southeast of Germany. That's a very modern building. You can see it in the screen. The main thing is that it produces is a multi-metering radar that became the world-leading device in this area. Another device is a radar that measures the level in mills and grinders and tanks. It measures the level of liquid products. It also measures the pressure. The Vega company has been doing this since 1973. Another important parameter for mining industry is measuring the density of slurry. We have different types of density measuring devices. We produce our products, our devices in line with PLIX technology, which is a standardized technology for production. The lead time starts from 5 days in our company. The range of different products is huge, and these devices have the so-called black boxes that register peak readings before fault and monitor the condition of the equipment and the condition before fault. In addition, we produce magnetic indicators of the level that measure the level of product without involvement of electricity. We also produce separators of power devices that send data through Ethernet, and they help to process data. We also have our own software to visualize stocks. Basically, that deals with small size and medium sized businesses as well as larger businesses like cement companies, concrete companies. We help them to identify how and where to supply the product. That can be also installed at oil stations and gas stations. It also shows what tanks are filled and what tanks are empty. It enables to monitor the needs of different branches or stations. I'm sorry, I have to wind up here because my time is limited. I will welcome any requests, any questions from you, and we are ready to cooperate.
Александр Александрович, огромное спасибо за этот доклад.
Thanks a lot for this report, Alexander.
Концептуальных аспектов
Apart from the conceptual aspects of digitalization and the problems they create, it was important for me to hear something about the instruments and tools that provide information to the current systems. We have gone through a huge number of very interesting issues, and the last but not least report that we're going to hear today is a very interesting thing because it sheds light on a totally different facet of the digital transformation, namely is the social aspect that arises in the transformation of enterprises into modern, highly efficient businesses. There are some difficulties and complications and challenges to address. Now I give the floor to Oksana Grabovets, the HR director of RNG company. This is one of our general sponsors. And I would like to express my gratitude personally to Oksana and to the company on behalf of our forum. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Can you hear me? Can you see the presentation? We can see. We can hear you, but we do not see the presentation now. But we... Yes, it works. Thank you so much. Let me introduce myself. My name is Grabovets Oksana. I'm head of HR representing East Holding Company that does the mining and mining on the territory of Sakha-Yakutia Republic. This is a company that was launched, that operates on the major deposit in Sakha, and this year we're planning to extract 1 million tons of oil, crude oil. Apart from the mining companies, our holding comprises a huge construction company, huge in terms of the Republic of Sakha. We fulfill our own demands, and in addition, we fulfill the demands of the Republic. In particular, we commissioned recently the bridge connecting two parts of the federal road highway. That's a very large infrastructural object in the Republic. Today, the company has more than 3,000 people. Basically, they work in shifts. Our offices are in Yakutia, in Tyumen, Irkutsk, but the head office is located in Moscow. Let's move on to the topic of the discussion today. Perhaps that's not going to be a standard or traditional aspect of digitalization. I'm a very specialized person, and I come from a specific segment of business. From my experience, I can see that digital transformation has been implemented in most areas of businesses and production, and also in particular in the labor legislation. I have seen a series of labor legislation amendments even in our domain. Digitalization is a part of the national program. You can read the quotation made by President Putin in 2020 mentioning how important it is to digitalize labor relations and human relations. This is a mainstream of this year in the economy. So we have seen the law regulating the digital labor logs, individual labor logs or certificates. In addition, we deal a lot with, of course, HR processes, and when interviewing and hiring people, we are obliged to issue at least 10 documents during the life of the during the term of service. For each employee, the number of documents exceeds 100. So there are a lot of challenges in this domain. And we are very happy to welcome the digital innovations in this area that helps to issue documents, to get signatures. We have now e-signatures, which are very helpful. And all these together save up to 40% of working time and remove up to 50% of workload and cut costs. Another area where digital technologies are and will be used is the assessment and training of personnel. We use machine learning, we use augmented reality, and so on. And now there have been new processes in interviewing people. We have HR bots, we have recruiter robots, we use the built-in analytics. A vivid example to me is the product by Staffery company that was created in 2017. Those are robots recruiters who select and introduce new people to companies. The robot is called Lera, and she makes up to 10,000 interviews at a certain point of time. She's multitasking. She is based on machine learning technologies, so she continues learning today. So today she can even answer the questions of applicants. Within 2.5 years, Vera has completed more than 4 million interviews with job seekers. This is a bright example of how digital technologies have been implemented in nearly every area of activities for an enterprise. Today, we have been digitalizing HR documents in the sphere where that can be done without breaching the legislation. Just like the anti-Russia, we are beginning to use electronic labor logs, and today up to 30% of our personnel have accepted this kind of HR documents. before 31st of December, our people have a chance to update their paper logs to electronic logs. Next year, our company is going to participate in a federal project that facilitates payment of the social security payments. That will save a lot of time and effort on the paperwork. Thus, the whole chain is becoming digital, and that helps to to prevent fraud and any kind of deception in this area, and simplifies the process very much. We also use the the training platform Olympus. Today, this is one of the best software to make online training in the sphere of industrial security. Moreover, these days we've devised a plan to improve the skills and to train the specialists, qualified specialists, with involvement, with cooperation with Tomsk Federal University. We have devised, together with the university, ready modules of training, together with Scottish University Heriot Watt. Undoubtedly, these are the first steps in the digital sphere, but even those small movements allow us to optimize HR processes, both in the financial area and labor area. However, that
most important, this is the data protection from information leak and impact on the information. And also development of digital technologies in our areas requires specialized services and databases. And we need to revise the labor legislation overall, because the parts of the legislation are becoming obsolete rapidly. Another element that becomes a barrier on the way to implement digital technologies, this is finance. It's rather costly to implement it. I don't want to dwell for a long time on the problems that we're facing. The most important, we should say that less flexible than it used to be legislation, the law on electronic signature that is not dealing with the labor relations at all. That's why improvement of these documents is required before digital technologies are implemented in HR in a mass scale. The activator, the driver for digitalization in labor relations is the lockdown and pandemic of COVID. It's rather paradoxical, because big number of enterprises had to switch to remote employment. It required infrastructure, support of virtual desktops, communications, and we got increasing interest to protection of remote terminals, desktops of their workers. We encountered one more risk, significant risk, since we are uninterrupted cycle company. If the employees are getting sick at a mass scale, it might stop, interrupt the production, and we really seeking to replace the personnel with the robots, with AI, which will reduce industrial safety risks. And Individually, I would like to dwell on the digitalization aspect, which is social one. As I mentioned, implementation of digital technologies across all business areas is already significantly impacting the employment market, the global employment market. And big number of employees are working from homes nowadays. Part of the processes, part of the activities are being replaced by AI, by robots. So we've got a trend that there is a lack, deficiency of highly skilled specialists in the area of cybersecurity and IT systems. According to the global analyst perspective, in the nearest 5 years, more than 50% of employees will work from home and 50% will be replaced by AI and robots. As such, call center operators, sales clerks, drivers, secretary assistants, and McKinsey consultancy, they made this research by 2030, from 4 to 800 million people will lose their jobs due to AI, due to robots. But new jobs are coming into being, less of them, and currently they are in deficiency engineers, bioengineers, analysts, data analysts, information security specialists. Just a small example from my own experience. Last year, we launched in operation VAS production systems. Both of these systems are developed by Russian developers, and they can keep track of dozens of operations. And we standardize the business processes, we reduce the human factor impact, we automated a big number of works, and we set free a big number of low-skilled specialists that used to service the mines, the wells. And we got a need in service engineers for this system, data analysts, and specialists of higher qualification rather than we have, because dealing with systems requires other skills. The demand for the workforce will require to change the educational systems. Here we also have a rather paradoxical situation. Many enterprises, they use obsolete equipment. They cannot upgrade it in a timely manner. That's why they cannot hire advancedly qualified digital specialists. And at least nowadays, sometimes they are not demanded at our market. Digital transformation, as it was mentioned by the previous speaker, will significantly impact such social indicator as industrial security and safety. Replacement of humans on a number of operations will reduce the number of industrial accidents, will reduce costs on these root causes, and also will reduce the first cost of the finished product. To reduce the social tension, to overcome the crisis at the labor market, it is required to engage the state regulation, the educational system. We need to have social support systems for vulnerable groups of population, and they need to adjust the labor legislation, implement flexible employment relations across the entire territory of the Russian Federation. And I believe that digitalization of labor relations is required, but still it needs to be happening under strict control. Thank you for your attention. And thank you very much, Oksana. It was so interesting that we just kept our breath while listening to you, because sometimes we are getting enticed by technical issues. We tend to forget that any technical issue is associated with HR, with a qualified workforce, and we need to be mindful of these people. And any digital transformation has pros and cons. Undoubtedly, it results in setting free people, and we have people who need jobs, and it might create a social tension, especially in those areas where the workforce is localized around enterprises, mainstream enterprises. This is a problem related to so-called mono cities arranged around the mainstream enterprises, but we cannot stop the progress. We will be moving towards digital transformation, but many enterprises are not at the cutting-edge level in terms of even existing technologies. That's why we have a lot of work to do. It's a challenging work. Thank you very much for your presentation. Distinguished participants of our panel discussion. This was the final presentation in our session. As you probably noticed, we tried to put together the presentations around 4 major pillars: conceptual aspects of digital transformation of the enterprises, emerging challenges due to digital transformation, namely the cybersecurity issues of the automated systems and PCI systems, automated control systems. Also, we had a quick look at the technical means to tackle the digital transformation tasks. And finally, we approached a rather relevant subject related to social aspects of the digital transformation. Indeed, under the current situation, under pandemic conditions that embrace the entire world, digitalization of different areas of activity results in liberating many people. They lose their jobs, and jobs are converted into remote jobs, and the load on the public health is reduced. In this way, we can reduce the number of infected people. I want to thank all the participants taking part in our panel discussion. Hopefully it was interesting for all of you. I want to give a floor for the closing remarks, the floor on behalf of the president of our association, Anatoly Tkachuk. Please, colleagues, allow me to thank all the participants of our today's panel discussion for the wonderful and relevant, sometimes surprising, unexpected presentations. And they are interesting for all our forum's participants. And we are thankful for such a participation in this extremely important process, which is development of technological sphere. And today, the participants and attendees, with the thousands of people are listening to us, and Financial Association will analyze and generalize this panel and measures to implement the proposals that are on demand across many areas of life. And I would like to thank Alexander Isayevich, because it was really professionally, competently performed his duties. He proved that he is on top of cutting-edge technologies, and this subject is endless. It is on demand. And today, seeing that not just the industry, not just the society, but individuals are also directly related to digitalization. I wish all of you good health and success. Thank you. Big thanks to the participants, to our panel participants. Thanks for being interactive today. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Освоение восточных блоков среднебутуобинского месторождения – один из самых перспективных нефтегазовых проектов Республики Саха-Якутия. Среднебутуобинское нефтегазоконденсатное месторождение находится в 130 километрах к юго-западу от Мирного и в 140 километрах к северо-западу от Ленска. Восточные блоки занимают почти 400 квадратных километров, площадь, сравнимая, например, с Хабаровском. Комплекс сооружений, обеспечивающих подготовку нефти до требований ГОСТ. Залежи нефти в Батуобинском горизонте на восточных блоках были открыты еще в 1970 году. Но тогда в Министерстве нефтяной промышленности СССР скважину решили законсервировать. Разработку восточных блоков возобновило акционерное общество РНГ. В 2010 году компания выиграла аукцион на право разведки и добычи углеводородного сырья на восточных блоках. Компания РНГ занимается добычей углеводородного сырья не только на восточных блоках среднебутуобинского месторождения, но также является оператором по разработке и разведке месторождений на следующих лицензионных участках аффилированных компаний группы РНГ: на Южно-Сюльдюкарском, Мунулахском, Мурбайском и Битинчинском. Именно Восточная Сибирь призвана стать одним из основных поставщиков нефти и газа на внутренние и внешние рынки. Компания РНГ строит новую нефтегазовую провинцию.
Генеральный спонсор 7-го Московского международного финансово-экономического форума ООО «Промтех». Компания «Промтех» является инновационным предприятием, специализирующимся на решении задач комплексной автоматизации технологических и производственных процессов в различных отраслях промышленности. Более чем за 25 лет стабильной работы для многих российских и зарубежных предприятий мы стали стратегическим партнером по внедрению передовых информационных технологий, от датчика и контроллера до современного цифрового управления промышленным производством. Накопленный интеллектуальный потенциал компании «Промтех» позволяет предложить нашим клиентам инновационные решения в сфере цифровизации процессов с учетом требований по информационной безопасности. Значительные производственные мощности и постоянно расширяемый спектр оборудования, разработанного специалистами «Промтех», обеспечит комплексные цифровые решения передовыми техническими средствами, в том числе не имеющими аналогов на отечественном рынке. Обладая огромным практическим опытом, глубокой технической и отраслевой экспертизой, компания «Промтех» является надежным партнером и поставщиком инновационных решений для крупнейших предприятий горной промышленности России и ближнего зарубежья. Компания «Промтех», став за годы существования драйвером развития отечественной индустрии автоматизации и информационных технологий, сегодня занимает лидирующие позиции среди российских компаний, опираясь на инженерно-технический потенциал высококвалифицированных специалистов своей компании и партнерских организаций. ООО «Промтех» Используйте наш опыт, и мы подберем решение, отвечающее вашим требованиям.
Development of the eastern blocks of the Srednja Botuobenskoye field is one of the most promising oil and gas projects in the Republic of Saha-Yagote. The Srednja Botuobenskoye oil and gas condensate field is located 130 kilometers southwest of the city of Mirny and 140 kilometers northwest of the town of Lensk. The eastern blocks of the field extend over an area of nearly 400 square kilometers, comparable to the city of Khabarovsk. Facilities have been put in place for oil preparation that meet GOST Russian standards. Oil was discovered in the Botuobinsky horizon at the eastern blocks of the field in 1970. But the USSR Oil Ministry decided to shut down the well. Development of the eastern blocks was resumed 40 years later by RNG. In 2010, the company won an auction for rights to explore and produce hydrocarbons at the eastern blocks. RNG is not only producing hydrocarbons at eastern blocks of the Srednja Botuobenskoye field, but is also the operator via affiliated companies of RNG Group in exploration work. At the Yuzhno-Sujukaski, Munilaski, Mobaisky, and Bitinshinsky license areas. Eastern Siberia is destined to become a major supplier of oil and gas to domestic and foreign markets. RNG is building a new oil and gas province.
Уважаемые участники форума, сейчас мы переходим к заключительной
Dear
части.
participants, let me move on to the concluding part of our discussion and forum with the finalizing speech and conclusions. Please meet Murichev Alexander, the chairman of our association. First of all, let me congratulate you with the successful completion of the session. We have all witnessed brilliant organization and planning, both from technical part and information part, unlike many other forums. And due to the current situation, we focused more on the substance. We have seen the experts of a very high level, the directors of industries, of industry leading companies. As a result, we have a couple of comments on the organizations from the viewpoint of organizers. Indeed, hundreds of people, of businesses and companies and political organizations from 32 countries have participated. We announced 31 countries at the beginning, but it turned out that 32 countries have been have been present at the forum. We have listened to dozens of very informative reports and presentations. We have focused on how to uh, combine the all-European puzzle. We have discovered very significant steps for implementing very important missions, and throughout all the panels we have heard that trade and transport and hospitality areas have become the major target of the economic decline due to the pandemic. We have discovered a lot about Industry 5.0, about the innovation and digitalization, which, however, do not reduce the significance of major industries. That was discussed at the first session. Social responsibility is still in demand with regard to the current situation, and that causes numerous challenges for businesses and HR capital. Human capital is the focus of separate discussion within the first session. The second panel was devoted to the development of industry. A lot of speakers noted the instability of transportation, of currency, national currencies in Europe and Asia. A lot has been said about the growth of the trade, the development of leasing as an alternative to loans, and the development of the market of bonds and derivatives, which will continue in the near future. It has been mentioned that digitalization is a very important factor of competitiveness of countries and businesses. It has been mentioned that it's so important to speak the language of business, where Astana multifunctional social service was presented as a vivid example, as a vivid success on the territory of the CIS. We have talked a lot about the economic and transportation corridors throughout Eurasia. We've talked about the overcoming of the sanctions syndrome, implementation of large-scale trans-border projects that can be exemplified by a Meridian project that envisages the shortest highway through Kazakhstan, Russia, Belarus, the shortest highway from Europe to Asia. The participants of the panel have also mentioned the development of transport system in the remote areas, like the development of roads and bridges in the Republic of Sakha-Yakutia. The dialogue between businesses and governments is an important focus of this forum. That includes the Financial Business Association of the participants, the Eurasian Economic Commission, and multiple other international organizations. The need for dialogue has been highlighted by many participants. The pandemic proved that there can be changes for the future due to close cooperation between businesses and governments, like including the legislative and executive branches of the governments, on condition, and it has been mentioned here, that the sustainable development requires mutual trust, bilateral and multilateral, a brittle balance of the financial burden incurred by businesses and companies has to be focused on the social responsibility and has to be balanced by the state regulating bodies. UniCredit is a vivid example of this process. It was announced the winner of the in the nomination. Another winner was RNG company, one of the major energy companies in Russia. Another bright example in the sphere of ramification and combating the effects of the crisis is the Republic of Sakha that built roads and bridges. We're very grateful to our partners who made possible to organize this forum. I hope we lived up to their expectations. We are very grateful to Promtech RNG, the sponsor of the first panel, Sympathec, for their effort and financial contribution, as it supported it financially, the forum financially, and essentially, I'm very grateful to Prufix company, to the interpreters, to my colleagues in FBA company who did a lot of effort, made a lot of achievements in organizing this large international forum. The final results are still in store. We will draw the major conclusions later, and all the comments, all the feedback, your opinions, your suggestions and proposals will be collected, studied, processed, and they will serve the basis for our final resolution. After agreement with our partners and the government of Moscow, we're planning to send this document to those who facilitate the development of the European Asian cooperation and partnership. We invite you to the Moscow International Financial Forum in Moscow. I hope that next year we will have an offline meeting. We are looking forward to it. We hope very much that it will be offline because we miss communicating in person. We miss this human touch and warmth, and we will do our best to organize it as best as we can. Special thanks to our speakers. Many thanks again to all of you. Let me congratulate you all. I'm afraid I won't be able to see you online and offline. Please take care. Please stay safe. See you in Moscow in 2021.